Good morning. Have a seat. Good morning, everyone. So, since nobody came to look at me, I hope I'll just rotate the camera in a moment. So we are right now in Skradin, which is pretty much straight down river from the Krka waterfalls. Really nice spot, by the way. And in front of us, right there, that's where the entrance to the national park is. So just behind that bridge. And we are now basically ready to go downriver to Sibenik. And it's quite a cool landscape along the way. So enjoy. You good? Want to untie the bar? Oh, by the way, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask or, well, write us a comment or anything alike, and I'll try to get to it. Cool. Can you check on your YouTube if this is actually working?
Yeah.
Can you join it?
I am. But it looks like this.
What is this? Maybe I should wait.
Switch for the screen.
So I have to rotate.
Yeah, I don't
How's that?
but it's not thinking a mask. Like this.
Are we loose?
Don't forget to close the hatches.
Can you tell me where the buoy is? Okay. Okay, so off we go.
They're like right next to us now.
We're just pivoting past Skradin now, making sure we clear the buoy. We're out. And off we go. And looks like we're following Carpe Diem today. Should be nice. So one of the smart things we did today is that we're actually going out on a falling tide. So we should have a good knot of current going with us. Always helpful. Still watching? Sorry, swans. So, bridge number 1 of 2 coming up. At least by now we know we clear them. It was less the bridges, it was more the clearance that I was worried about.
There was one bridge that it seemed super low.
Well, second one this time.
Yeah.
Can you start the profile when you're done with what you're doing? Thank you. So one of the nice things is, while the river is pretty narrow, it actually is fairly deep all the way. So right now we got 10 meters of water. And actually the entrance was like 30 meters, I think, 35. So plenty of water, also makes it a bad spot to anchor in the middle. But you wouldn't want to do that anyways, since there's all these super yachts coming up and down the river. horrible in live commenting. Anybody else wants to say something? Hi, Mom. Oh yeah, you can do that.
You should read the book. Alright.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I'm gonna be telling you a little bit about Krka National Park. So it has a total area of 109 square kilometer of the Krka River, and its basin was proclaimed the Krka National Park, and this was done in 1985. This confirmed the exceptional value of the beauty of the Karst River. I apologize for the reading. Some of these names are interesting and I struggle with them. But the distinctiveness of the national phenomena and the cultural history and the historical monuments. So with its 7 travel time barriers, the Krka River is a natural karst phenomenon. Krka National Park lies within Sibenik, Knin country, and includes the Krka River from 2 kilometers downstream of the town of Knin to Skradin, and the lower course of the I don't know how to say that word. Shikola River. We're hoping that's right. So the travertine, the fundamental phenomenon of the Krka National Park is the common appearance in the surface water courses of the dynamic karst, but it rarely builds waterfalls as it has on the Krka River. So the travertine, which is limestone that has settled out of the water and accumulated on the travertine, building organisms like mosses, algae, stuff like that, and creature variations. It creates various geomorphological forms. So, due to the distinctive position and various types of habitat along the Krka River, this area stands out for its exceptional wealth of flora and fauna. And to date, 1,186 plant species and subspecies have been recorded in the park area. So many amphibians can be found in the lake section of the river and the wetlands areas. Reptiles inhabit the thickets and the rocky areas, while the river is habitat for many endemic fish species. The Krka River is exceptionally important for the spring and the autumn bird migrations due to the number of species found here. This is one of the Europe's foremost ornithological areas. The area of the Krka River abounds in cultural and historical monuments, traces of human creation since prehistoric times. These include the remnants of the aqueduct in the Roman settlements Stradona, the remnants of the Roman military camp at Burnham, and the ruins of the medieval Croatian fortress from the 14th century. Ooh. Okay, there's a couple of names here that I can't read, so I'm going to skip along a little bit. So among the sacral structures, the most valuable are the Franciscan Church of Our Lady of Visovats, definitely saying that incorrect, and the monastery Our Lady of Mercy on the Visovats Island, and the Krka Monastery, or the Holy Archangel. The many watermills and washing columns are monuments of rural architecture. Do we have any more interesting facts? Let me just see here. So the trails of the Krka National Park offer a true experience of nature. The specific landscape of Karts and the water of life contrasts all brought together into a harmonious whole that will encourage visitors to experience the world with all their senses. In addition to the 22 marked walking trails covering 47 kilometers, nature lovers can also enjoy the 470 kilometers of cycling trails throughout the Krka National Park. And it is beautiful here. So Stradinsky Buck, the longest and most commonly visited waterfall in the Krka River, is one of Croatia's best known natural values. The waterfalls are created by travertine barriers, islands and lakes, and the waterfalls can be viewed year-round thanks to the network of trails and bridges that allow for pleasant and safe walking. The Stradinsky Buck locality can be reached via the Lozovac entrance from April to October. Individual visitors can enjoy a free bus service organized by Krka National Park from the entrance to Stradinsky Buck. The second entrance to Skradin. From April to November, visitors can be transported by boats organized by Krka National Park according to the sailing schedule. Both the boats and bus services are included in the entrance ticket price for individual visitors. Nature lovers and hikers can reach Stradinsky Buck from the Lozovac entrance in about 10 minutes on the 875 meter walking trail. So a 4-kilometer walking and cycling route connects the Skradin entrance with the Stradinsky Buck. There's also the watermills in the national park belong to the system of the pre-industrial water-powered plants in the Krka River as a symbol of economic power. They were often a source of conflict, so the preserved mills date back to the 19th century. Today, they have high cultural and historical significance as monuments of rural architecture and the economy of the past due to their primary activity and traditional appearances. They are also ethnographic monuments. Demonstrations are held in the restored water columns of Krka National Park. So see how wheat was milled, cloth washed, bags and carpets woven, horses' shoes smithed, and learn more about the old-fashioned ways of the food preparation in the old kitchens, and so much more. There's also an educational trail, the Stradinsky Buck Trail, which is 1,900 meters, and this is a pleasant 1-hour walk passing over travertine barriers and offering visitors the opportunity to become better acquainted with the wealth of flora and fauna for the Krka River, especially the living communities of the travertine barriers and the aquatic habitats. The Krka Hydropower Plant is the remnants of the former Krka Hydropower Plant, and this is a stand at Stradinsky Buck. The power plant began operations in 1895, just 2 days after Tesla's hydroelectric plant at Niagara Falls. So thanks to the builders, Mayor Ante Supuk, and the engineers, received electricity before many European cities. The exhibit on the Krka Hydropower Plant is on display in the restored water mill. We were actually there yesterday and it's really nice. So yes, if you guys want more information on that, you can Google or you can just message Project Manaia. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Tavani. So that was a rundown on the national park in Krka. We actually went there yesterday and it was stunningly beautiful. So definitely worth the visit, and that alone is worth going to Skradin, which by itself is worth the visit. In case you just turned on right now, we are on our way from Skradin back down to Sibenik, which basically leads us across a couple of valleys and over one of the few lakes that we have in this area. We are actually about to enter it right now. So to our port side, for everyone who doesn't know, it's our left side, is coming up the anchorage where we actually spent the previous night before. Super nice and quiet. And the cool thing about this lake is, well, for one, it's fairly shallow, so it's about 15 to 18 meters on the deepest areas. And it comes in layers. So basically you can anchor anywhere you want, even though there is more and less sheltered spots. But also when you jump in, you're actually swimming in fresh water for the first, say, more or less meter and a half. So if you dangle your feet down, you can actually feel the temperature differences, and it's getting warmer about a meter below. So that's the cold surface water that comes straight down from the waterfalls. And well, while it should be cold, it's not really that cold. It's about 24 degrees, I think we measured. So then underneath the fresh water you have the brackish water, so a mix of salt and fresh water, and below that you actually have straightforward salt water, which means that in this area you can find saltwater and freshwater creatures, which is pretty amazing. The same thing was actually true as well further up in Skradin, so only the top layer is a little thicker there and it's really completely fresh water, so not even a hint of salt, which here we had. And on the bottom we could still find marine crabs and gobies and, well, saltwater loving animals. So that was quite interesting to see. So, and the lake that we are now entering is about 2.5 to 3 kilometers diameter, so not massively big, but super nice playground for many people. So when we came up, there was actually a big super yard and people were whizzing around on electric subs and all sorts of toys. And well, personally it reminds me of lakes in Austria really, and the water is just that calm. So the night on anchor we actually woke up, or well, even in the evening the water was like glass. It was completely flat and actually looked very clear, at least the upper layer. Unfortunately, as you dip your head down, it's getting more and more blurry. Everybody who has ever been diving in the sea near a freshwater spring might have realized you always get these weird, like, wave structure looking things in the water, and it's just getting milky. So basically, the deeper you go, the less you see. So in this anchorage, I was actually trying to find our anchor and even followed the chain, but as soon as your eyes were more than, say, 10 centimeters from the bottom, you couldn't even see it anymore. So not particularly clear, but definitely nice to swim in. Plus, everything gets a good freshwater rinse for a change, which in our case is a rare luxury. So while we're on the way, we also always keep a watch out for one, plastic debris, but really mostly our focus is on marine megafauna. So dolphins, whales, turtles, whatever we can spot really. Right now the ladies are sitting back here in the cockpit with me and keeping an eye out, so that's why you can't see them. Mostly we would do this on the bow, but it is already rather sunny and getting pretty warm. So in the lake we did obviously not see any dolphins. Well, apparently they do show up every now and then, but very rarely. What we did see though is at least 2 turtles already. So one as we came in and one during our night on anchor. So there's definitely a bit of marine life going on in the area. And I guess they just love the quiet here. Well, everybody does. And further down on the river you'll also see lots of shellfish farms. So mussel farming is big in the area. Oysters as well as the straightforward black. In Italian they call them Kotze. In German it's Miesmuschel. In English I honestly don't know. Just seashell, I suppose. But those will be coming up in about half an hour or so. So in case you ever rent a sailboat or own a sailboat in the area, this part is definitely worth a visit. We've actually heard of it, well, from the cruising guide that came with the boat when we bought it, and the previous owner, or previous owner, put in a must-see for this spot, and this year was finally the time we went there. And honestly, I have to agree with the man or woman, because it is absolutely stunning to see. Okay, I'll be off the microphone for a bit, but if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, just write them in the chat and I'll try to answer. Hello again, just because I saw some more people signed on. So we are currently on our way from Skradin, which is just downriver of the Krka waterfalls, back down to Sibenik. So right now we are crossing our little layered lake. layered because fresh water on top, salt water on the bottom, and the mix in between. It's gonna be another about 10 minutes on the lake, and then we will be back in the valley. So if you want to grab a cup of coffee or cup of tea, now would be a good time, because the valley you wouldn't want to miss. Also, if you want some nerve-wracking crossings below cables and bridges, all that is coming up. And as I said before, but you might not have heard it, so if you have any questions, do write them in the chat and I'll try answer them on the fly. In theory, the chat should be showing here, so that should be alright. Looking forward to reading from you. Actually, I'm not sure if that chat thing is working. Can you write something? Or see if somebody did write? Good morning, Tina. So that was us testing the chat feature. So if you do want to hear about something in particular, or you just want to say hello, just write it in the chat. We can actually see it. Try not to be upset if I don't answer right away. I'm actually checking a couple of screens and also the water at the moment. So might get a little sidetracked here or there. By the way, if you do have your own boat and you want to go up this river, Sunday or Saturday, yeah, the weekend really is the time to go. Because Saturday is the switch day for the charter boats, which means they all have to be back in the bases in Sibenik or all around. And yesterday we were actually one of 2 boats on the buoy. This morning the charter boats started to come back in already. So Saturday is the quiet day. Very much the contrary of what you would think. Not entirely true for the national park itself though. That's just for the marina and the buoys. And just as a side note, the entire bay up there in Skradin actually belongs, or not belongs, but the ACI Marina has the jurisdiction. So really there's not a way around paying them. And they will come, they will ask your papers, and then you have to go to the office and pay out. They didn't really care about the size of the boat. They just charged 400 kunas for the night on the buoy. In the marina, it's slightly more expensive. It's about double the price, I think. There we go. By the way, you are allowed to talk. Just say. Yes. I know people hear me. That's okay. But I think they can't hear you. So, by the way, we are planning to do a few more of these live streams, not necessarily of us motoring down the beautiful valley, but also about, well, Gonna try to do a live snorkeling session soon with the ROV and possibly take out a few samples and show you in a little bit more detail, mostly about Ecken Downs. Maybe we find some new branches, so it really depends on our daily shape. But now that we finally worked out a way to actually do this, might as well try. So make sure to check back. We'll try to announce it early on. Not always possible, so just click the subscribe button and you will get a notification as soon as we go live. And if you can't make it in time, never fear, it will stay up on YouTube for the next years to come. Oh man, still beautiful. Good morning to the newcomers. So we are right now past the lake, so halfway to Skradin and Sibenik. There's a lake that's connecting all the, and we just about finished crossing it. So now in front of us is actually the first cable that's coming up. So it's very comforting to see a boat passing through and in front of us and seeing that they have loads of space on the top, because if you stand on the boat and you look up, it always looks very tight. By the way, if you haven't yet, you can give us a thumbs up. It would help us a lot. And you can, of course, also share this link with your friends and family in case you think they would be interested in it. And even if not, just share it. Oh, that looks like the workers from the mussel farm going home. So, there we go. Now the lake is over and we are getting into the next bit of the valleys. think the next one is my favorite turn. Coming up, it felt like racing. On the way up, we had to cut the corner. So it's like, well, you don't want to get in the opposite lane. So it's like, okay. Actually, in this place, the AIS is super comforting. At least you know there's nothing really big coming your way. And yes, there's really big boats coming up here. I was amazed by the size of boats that actually showed up in Skradin and up on the lake. Okay, time to turn. And we're back. It seems like the valley is opening up again now. I hope it stays on now. So don't worry, the little bit that you missed, we did get it on a different camera. In fairness, I can just take this mount off for a moment. Show you the back. So this is why the internet dropped out. Oops. And actually I should very much focus on driving, not on playing with the camera. So let me hook that back up. And get us back on track. So here you can also see the first ones of the shellfish farms. There will be a lot more as we get closer to Sibenik. So let's see. So now we come out of one valley and I think we take a left here. Yeah. Well, in doubt, just follow the current, right? Yeah, so to the right on this junction would be Zaton. Zaton, really not sure how to pronounce it properly. But another sleepy little village with a small harbor there. Also on the wish list, maybe next year. soon you'll see the next bridge coming up. So actually the last one for the day. But first, 2 power lines. Nobody coming on our way, so we can cut the corner a little bit. More plastic.
Yeah, that was bad.
Wind is nothing right now. Well, we get our travel speed on the nose, so no wind. Hello, friend. So that's the first charter boat coming in again. So, and all the buoys that you can see on the left and right, or you mostly on the left, those are actually the shellfish farms. So supposedly the nice mix of fresh and salt water makes them grow particularly well. And from what I hear, they actually grow salt and freshwater species here. And if you come by boat, or mostly by dinghy, you can actually tie up to some of their jetties and just get mussels straight out of the farms. Don't think they would be very happy if you tie up with the sailboat itself though. Okay, lovely people, and this is it. That's our last switch of the day. This time I'll give you the different perspective, which is why we always get a little nervous. So it does look a lot closer than it really is. That just as a side note, maybe helps you understand your boating friends a little better. Now we have Sibenik coming up in front of us. So the big city you see coming here, that is it. Which means for us, it's the time where we're gonna slowly sign off. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll just quickly show you the crew who was on here for this. So we have Pinar over here, taking videos as we go. We got Tawani right here, watching out for plastic bottles at the moment. And this was me. So thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully see you next time. Bye bye.